Time for our Seen and Unseen segment, where we expose the big cultural stories of the day. Joining me now is Raymond Arroyo, Fox News contributor, author of Will Wilder 3, The Amulet of Power, now in paperback. All right, Ray, TV getting very strange during this stay-in-place shutdown deal. So what is Speaker Pelosi up to? I've been wondering, where is she, pray tell?
Well, she's showing up a lot, and she showed up the other night on James Corden's show from her kitchen. Now, after claiming that the president is not concerned about the working people during the coronavirus outbreak, she revealed her key, Laura, to surviving the quarantine.
Chocolate.
Really?
Chocolate candy.
Oh, wow.
And
oh, my. Wow.
other people in our family look for some other flavors, but chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here.
Oh, my God.
You've heard of California closets? That's the California closets of freezers. Did you see that sucker? She's talking about protecting the working man. She's got those Jenny gourmet ice creams. Those babies go for $13 a tub. Don't tell me about being a working man.
Come on, Paul Pelosi, he did pretty well, okay? He does pretty well. They're doing fine, Raymond, in the confines of Napa Valley, Sonoma Valley, Pacific Heights. They're all fine there.
Now,
right,
Laura, if you missed the big Muppet primetime Corona special, I found the political equivalent yesterday. Cardi B and Bernie Sanders held a pro-Biden Instagram meetup. It was one for the ages.
Uncle Bernie! We got Uncle Bernie in my life. Uncle Bernie, how you doing?
I'm good, Cardi. I want you to take a look at my nails. How are they looking?
They're looking very quarantined. I could tell you've been on quarantine for a while now.
Losing a nomination's a tough way to go, Laura.
No, wait a second. I couldn't quite make out what she was saying. It was very high pitched, but he looked.
Yeah, she was saying, "Hi, Uncle Bernie."
I don't think I've ever seen him smile. He actually was smiling.
He enjoyed it. Look, this is all about Cardi B convincing her followers that Joe Biden is an acceptable candidate, and Bernie came clean about his new role in all this. Watch.
What I am also trying to do right now, Cardi, is to work with Joe to see that he becomes a more progressive candidate.
Laura,
he looks like Larry David.
He's trying to get Joe Biden to accept a $15 minimum wage, open borders, which he told Cardi B he's very close on immigration. He's moving in the right direction. This should be terrifying to Democrats who want to win over middle America. This will not help them.
Well, I have to say this, you got to remember whom they're promoting, right? Was Joe Biden out there today? What was he doing?
Yes. Today he was hosting a workers' town hall, Laura, or whatever you want to call it.
Look, I want to thank everyone who's on this program, this town hall we're having here, round table, for taking the time to speak to me today. There's more than one coronavirus. This COVID-9 is one strain of that.
COVID-9, Laura. Joe Biden probably thinks Cardi B is a topical. Hey, Jilly, the Ben Gay didn't work. Pass me some of that Cardi B. He doesn't know who Cardi B is. But anyway, this was his outreach to the workers today. Not working very well.
Well, I have to say, Joe, at one point he said, you got to wear a mask. Trump doesn't wear a mask. So you have to wear a mask. And then he said that after this interview ends, I'm gonna grab the mask because of all the television apparatus people around, or the television apparatus. There was something bizarre there. All right, Raymond, I want to get your reaction to your hometown mayor Latoya Cantrell's plans for the big events in New Orleans, Jazz Fest, which I was supposed to go to this year, I guess, with you. I guess that's over. Which is I guess we're recently all moved to the fall. Watch.
Yes.
My recommendation is absolutely no large events as it relates to the year of 2020, that the focus should shift to 2021.
2021, Laura. So the mayor, she claims she's the mayor of the city of yes. She's the mayor of no. She's canceled all these major events this year. Now, look, we want people to be safe. She did not talk about the Saints, however. What will happen to the Saints, our NFL franchise here? And other mayors are considering this stuff as well. I spoke to New Orleans executives, sports executives today. They want to play. They want the Saints back in the dome, and they're taking creative initiative to do so. Now, look, you want to keep their fans safe, but so they sell fewer seats. They might have to install those, GUV lights to purify the people as they come in. That kills the virus on surface. We have to find creative ways before we just say no to everything. I think people want to get back together, and they certainly want to take part in communal events.
Yeah, the president said that tonight.
Right.
He's like, we got to have sports back. You know, we want people to stay safe, but I'd go back to what Carson said earlier at the point of risks, like relative risks given the lethality of the virus for certain populations of age groups of people with you got to be careful with those certain groups of people who are age sensitive or underlying conditions. But and then life is filled with risks. Otherwise, you might as well just all call it quits now.
You take people's temps as they move in, but the very idea of Anthony Fauci that you put ball players in a silo, in a hotel, and they're there all season, that's ridiculous. That will never work, and you play everything out in Phoenix. Before we go, Laura, I've got to play this bit. This is New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's press conference the other day. Religious believers are furious over this statement. You'll see why.
The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. A lot of pain and suffering did that.
God didn't do it, and faith didn't do it. There's an underlying animus towards people of faith and the power of prayer here that really is unbecoming. He uses God when he needs it politically and then writes it off when he's successful. It's an ugly trait.
Wonder what Archbishop Cardinal Dolan thinks of all of that. Raymond, it's great to see you tonight.
Or Archbishop Andrew Cuomo, apparently.
Thank you very much. All right.
That's a good example of the disconnect that we have between the folks who legislate and think that they can spend your tax dollars the way they want it spent versus giving it to you or letting you keep what you earn. These people need to have term limits. That's all there is to it, folks. There needs to be a grassroots effort to stop this from continuing. But let's continue on.
Stay-at-home order. The governor says it is way too early to open up in that state. This follows a similar protest in Michigan that took place earlier this week. At least 4 sheriffs in that state, as you can see there, people came out in the driving rain, are saying they are not going to strictly enforce stay-at-home orders in their counties. One of those sheriffs, Kim Cole of Mason County, joins us now. For those not familiar with Michigan geography, it's if we put up our hand here, it's just over here on the right side of the coast there on Lake Michigan. Good to see you, sir. We appreciate it. What of Governor Whitmer's policies and orders do you find most offensive?
So I wouldn't say they're offensive, Leland. I would say that if I could just give you a short back history, Virginia passed those Second Amendment issues and laws down there, and what happened when that took place is people in Michigan kind of raised an eyebrow and said, boy, we hope that doesn't happen here. And then there was some chatter around Lansing about some gun issues, and all of a sudden Second Amendment sanctuary counties started popping up all over Michigan, and it really drew a large following. And on the heels of that, this COVID matter hit, and that was, of course, not our governor's fault. It's not anybody's fault. It just happened. And the governor issued some issues or some executive orders telling people to stay home, and people are already on edge, over the Second Amendment issues, and it creates.
We heard the president tweet about the Second Amendment issues as well. When we go through some of the governor's orders that are more controversial, you're allowed to fish in a canoe, but not from your motorboat, for example. Is that something that your sheriffs and water officers would enforce or not?
In our area, we would take it on a case-by-case basis. The governor does. It is an order the governor has that you can fish from a canoe or a kayak, but not in a 25-horse motored 16-foot deep V fishing boat.
Does that make sense to you as the sheriff?
You know, it really doesn't to me.
Okay.
I mean, if I have my boat at a dock, but it's got a motor on it, I can't go 100 feet out into my pond and fish, but I can get in a canoe in 46-degree water that is potentially tips over. So those are her orders. It's her right to do that. I think there's some room for improvement, and we would hope she would understand. You know, your previous guest was speaking out of Detroit, and that's a beautiful area down there, but we're not Detroit in northern Michigan, you know, and in the southeast part of the state, you can drive for miles and never see a tree, and in our area, you can drive for miles and never see a house, and it's two different dynamics.
As you pointed out before, you're an elected official. It's your job to uphold the Constitution, both of the United States and of the state of Michigan. You enforce the laws as you see fit. The voters can speak later. This headline caught my attention in the Washington Post, which does not normally write about Michigan, but here it is. Almost everybody I know is out of work. How the coronavirus has unleashed economic havoc in Michigan. Do you see that economic havoc, number one? And number two, are you worried if things don't get back to normal soon and people aren't allowed to return to work, that you as sheriff are going to have some violations of the law you're going to have to enforce?
Yeah, so Michigan just passed the 1 million mark on unemployment claims this week. One of those is my brother. My little brother works construction, and he was laid off because the site he was at was shut down. I don't take issue with the shutdown the governor issued, but yeah, there's a lot of people that are hurting in our area, and
potential for crime to become a real problem here going forward?
Yeah, you know. Yeah, before we went on, I was looking at complaints since the order's been in place by the governor. We've actually taken 8 criminal complaints related to the governor's order, and we've taken 19 domestic violence calls.
Wow.
And that's high for us in our area, the domestic violence calls.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Sheriff, we're going to have you back as this goes on because it's not over, and certainly the economic havoc and catastrophe is not over. We appreciate it, sir, and I know you're looking forward to summer up there where it becomes God's country rather than the bleakness of the gray. We appreciate it, sir. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks, Sheriff.